Hey, what up? Girls are sleeping, so I gotta be kind of quiet. But yeah, I'll just show you a few things around the house. We'll head up to the roof where I can speak a little more loudly out on the upper patio. And then, yeah, let me just show you around real quick. And then we'll talk a little bit about sleep apnea today. John, what up, John? Brought that up in the comments in yesterday's video. Let's talk about it a little bit. So this is actually an outdoor shower that opens up, which is kind of cool. Haven't used that yet. Got the kitchen in there. Got some chicken soup rolling today. Like a lot of Airbnbs, it's like super over decorated. It's not super practical per se, but it's fine. It's fine. But it's really cool in here. Tile and the decor, although when I sound like I was just complaining about it, it's actually really cool. Anyway, let's run up real quick to upstairs and talk some more. Blinds in Spain. Noisy, but very practical actually. And here we are. Okay. I don't know if you noticed, I kind of tripped on that first set of stairs. That would have been hilarious, but anyway, another cloudy day, which I guess is not too common around here. But it's pretty sweet. Alright, flipping it back around. Yeah, so sleep apnea. John said, have you noticed any sleep apnea at your weight? And I haven't had any problems recently, but yeah, there was a time when I was having some problems. I noticed that eating late, even if it was just like a little snack, especially if it was like just carbs like crackers or animal cookies, or sometimes late you feel like you need a little something, but you don't really want to eat. Anytime I had just like a snacky thing, it got me. I'd be waking up like throat, like I could just tell that I was like really just open mouth breathing all night, and yeah, every now and then I'd have some issues where I kept waking up and feeling like I was gasping for air. That's been a long time since I really had issues. Like I said, it seemed to be something associated with me eating late at night. Like that made it a lot worse for some reason, which I don't totally understand why. But as far as I know, my understanding of sleep apnea is that basically I think it's pretty easy to tell who the snorers and people who might suffer from sleep apnea would be, right? And it comes back to a lot of that stuff about your facial structure. And I don't know if you can see, hopefully the camera will do a decent job of showing this, but the best indicator I think is looking from the throat to the chin and seeing how much space is there. So you can see the distance from my chin to my throat is, I'd say, a little bit below average, and that also determines like the size of the dental arch. So the width of the jaw, the size of the dental arch, it can affect the cheek muscles, or not cheek muscles, the cheekbones as well, and just the breadth of the face in general. That counts a lot, but that distance from the throat, that's really your space that you have for your tongue, right? So I think the main factor in sleep apnea that causes it is having that that poor facial formation where you have too little space for your tongue, because your tongue is like a big organ, you know, it's like a sock puppet sized you know, thing that hangs in your throat, and you need a lot of space. So you know, if I'm lying down, or a person who has that short space is lying down, that tongue doesn't have anywhere to go, and it blocks the airway, causes you to have to open your mouth. You have to do more mouth breathing, and then you have to you know, you're more likely to snore and suffer from sleep apnea, which are kind of, to me, on the same spectrum. So my wife, you know, on the contrary, she's got this really big you know, well squared jaw, and she's got a really long distance from the, you know, from the neck to the chin, which is you know, like a hallmark of proper facial formation and beauty. So you know, she's got that going for her. But you know, because of that, she has the wide dental arch, all 32 teeth, and there's plenty of space for the tongue. The tongue can go farther forward, which clears the throat and allows air to go back there much more easily. And she doesn't snore. She doesn't have any problems with sleep apnea or anything like that. Obviously, gaining weight is associated with sleep apnea and snoring as well. You know, obviously, the more weight you gain, the more constricted, the more tight space becomes, and so that aggravates it. But at the core, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a lot of people that have that very long distance between the neck and the chin, where they have all that space for their tongue. Another thing you can look at is if you've ever noticed, like if you keep your mouth closed for a while, you open it up and you have scalloping on the sides of your tongue from where your teeth are. That's from your teeth, or your tongue pressing into your teeth, and that's a really good indicator that you have that too little space, and that your tongue is actually kind of crowded in there. There's not adequate space for it. So not a whole lot you can do about it. Obviously, if you start young with palate expansion and stuff like that, that's a good thing. Getting your wisdom teeth removed, like I did, it's taking a problem of having too little space in your dental arch and making it worse. Instead of expanding the palate and making room for the teeth, they just pull a teeth out, which further contracts it and sets you up later in life for more problems with apnea and snoring and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, there's people with much worse situations than I have, and less space for the tongue. And my sleep apnea is not terrible. My snoring is pretty strong. You know, I'm definitely in there sawing some logs or whatever. So yeah, I'm the first to fall. Not the first. I'm the last to fall asleep because of that. You know, I like to make sure everybody's asleep so that I can fall asleep. Nobody's having to lay there listening to my snoring or anything like that. But anyway, yeah, more information on this, I would check out Dr. Mew, M-E-W. He's a little strange dude for sure, but he's on it. He understands this very well, and can explain it better than I can. But that's the general gist of, you know, my understanding that I've gleaned from Dr. Mew, and just my own, you know, outside research, and also just thinking about it in my own, you know, my own personal experience. So anyway, that's all that I had for today's video. But yeah, anyway, girls are taking the siesta thing a little too seriously, but hopefully I was able to speak loud enough for you guys to hear me up here on the roof. But anyway, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. And yeah, feel free always to ask questions in the comments you want answered. Helps me come up with videos to do. So thanks for that, John.